My name is Olivia Carter. I am 35 years old, and I have spent my career supporting others' ambitions while burying my own. As I stood in the dimly lit room, surrounded by the glimmer of chandeliers and the chatter of high-powered executives, I felt like a ghost drifting through the ether. Every laugh and clink of glass only deepened my sense of invisibility. This gala was meant to celebrate the latest achievements of Whitman Enterprises, and I had poured countless hours into arranging every detail. But as I glanced over at James Whitman, the formidable CEO, and his right-hand woman, Sophia Hale, I realized that my contributions would go unnoticed, as always. They consistently belittled my importance, a trend I had grown accustomed to. It was an industry party designed to showcase power and prestige, but all I could see were the copies of myself around the room, assistants, analysts, and other invisible cogs in this corporate machine. Olivia. James called out, waving dismissively. His tone was casual, as if he was beckoning an underling, rather than the person who organized this very event. Make sure the catering is on point. We can't have any mistakes tonight. A sharp edge in his voice cut through my stillness. It reaffirmed a painful truth. I was only as good as my last task, my last minute. With a tight smile, I nodded, feeling an all-too-familiar sense of detachment wash over me. As I walked away, I replayed the comments I had overheard moments earlier. James and Sophia were laughing, discussing how they'd replaced me if I ever dared to step out of line. My heart sank. This was not just a party, it was a reminder of how they viewed me, a valuable assistant, perhaps, but never a contender. They never saw my potential, and at that moment, I felt the weight of their judgment suffocating my spirit. They never saw what I could become, I thought, a rebellious whisper in the confines of my mind. It was time to compartmentalize. I forced myself to focus on the tasks at hand, jotting down notes for follow-ups, silently auditing the inefficiencies in the room as others mingled blissfully ignorant of the chaos waiting in the background. However, every note I made felt like a step further from my own aspirations and closer to trapping myself in a role I had long since outgrown. In that grand ballroom, I was invisible, but my mind was a flurry of calculations. The quiet stuff I noticed, that extra cocktail waitstaff they hadn't hired, the security breach in the guest list, the late arrival of the catering team, they were inefficiencies I could correct but not claim credit for. Each moment peeled back layers of my identity, revealing an increasingly strategic thinker trapped in a supportive role. Yet a stirring determination began to awaken. I could feel the flicker of ambition igniting deep within me. I couldn't keep playing a supporting character in my own life story. Each time I was overlooked, the fire within me only grew stronger. That night marked a transition point, a realization that I needed to break out of my invisible mold before it consumed me whole. The glitz around me was superficial. My real power lay beyond those walls, in the network of brilliant connections I had yet to harness. With every breath, I resolved that I would no longer be just James's assistant. I would rise from the shadows and make myself seen, regardless of their will. My name was already etched into the structure of the company. Now, I needed to etch it into the elite social circles that would finally welcome me. Embracing my evolving self, I felt the anxiety and hesitation slip away, replaced by an unwavering conviction. I would show them who I truly was. In the days that followed the gala, I couldn't shake the stark contrast between my invisible existence and the dazzling world that seemed to thrive just beyond my grasp. Memories flooded back to moments where I had been overlooked, like the crucial board meeting when I meticulously organized a project. I had rallied stakeholders, ensuring every detail was perfect. Yet, when it came time for praise, it wasn't my insights that drew admiration but those of James's favored junior executive, Michael. Great insight, Michael. James exclaimed with enthusiasm, turning his back on my silent contributions. My stomach twisted. A quiet storm brewed within me, reminding me how often my voice went unheard. Another memory surfaced, Sophia breezing into the office while I was buried in expenses. She flipped through my reports with a smirk. You really should get out more, Olivia. Hiding behind spreadsheets won't get you far, she quipped. Her words cut. I had always known she was threatened by my capabilities. Behind her supportive demeanor lay a web of jealousy. I smiled back, battling the storm of emotions inside me. If only you knew what I could truly accomplish, I thought. Unbeknownst to them, each moment of dismissal only stoked the fire of determination within me. I began reflecting deeply on my professional journey. I realized I was more than ready to escape my current role. I had the strategic insight and operational knowledge to make waves. Thus, I immersed myself in my thoughts and memories, chronicling the lessons learned along the way. In the quiet of my home, I found solace in journaling my reflections, documenting not just my past experiences but mapping out my future. I was capable of so much more than being an invisible assistant. Could I transform my skills into personal branding? Olivia, it's time, I said to myself one late night, staring intently into the mirror. Clarity washed over me, and I finally understood. I wouldn't settle for being a mere spectator in corporate life. Equipped with resolve, I jotted down strategic steps I needed to take: personal branding, networking, and identifying mentors who could help me along my journey. I made lists of prospects, reaching out to industry professionals who could expand my visibility. I prepared messages that highlighted my operational creativity and collaborative spirit, asserting that I had more to offer than anyone had previously recognized. One evening, over a glass of wine with my friend Jenna, I cautiously voiced my ambitions. I'm thinking of leaving my position as James's assistant, I admitted. I want to carve out my own path. Olivia, you have so much to offer. You just need a platform, she encouraged, her eyes gleaming with belief. Seize your moment. Fueled by her affirmation, I began making connections. I reached out to industry leaders and influencers, arranging coffee meetings to discuss logistics, strategies, and potential collaborations. I spoke passionately about my ideas, letting my ambition shine through. Among those I contacted was Marcus Grant, known for his exclusivity and connections in elite social circles. I never thought he would notice me, yet after reading an article on my work, he reached out with an invitation. Olivia, I'd love to discuss your perspective on logistics in event management, he wrote. An electric buzz coursed through me as I read the email. This was no mere meeting, it was my gateway to shed my shadows. I prepared meticulously, rehearsing how I would showcase my expertise. I chose my outfit carefully, opting for a tailored blazer that communicated confidence and ambition. When the day came, I arrived at the cafe early. The sun bathed the space in warm light, a stark contrast to the anxieties swirling inside me. As Marcus entered, I caught his surprised glance. I was no longer just James's assistant but a poised woman ready to carve my own niche. Our conversation flowed seamlessly, brimming with ideas and ambitions. Olivia, your insights on logistics are refreshing. I believe you have the potential to collaborate with others beyond your current role, he said, his tone inviting. My heart raced. Here was validation I had craved, not from James or Sophia, but from someone who understood the industry's landscape. Each meeting I held, each connection I nurtured added a layer of legitimacy to my emerging identity. As I wove deeper into the fabric of elite society, I felt the once familiar feelings of invisibility starting to evaporate. It wasn't merely about rising up within the company. I was positioning myself as a leader in the logistics and event planning space, a resource people would seek out. Little by little, I began to see the outlines of my transformation, a strategic ascent fueled by the discontent I had felt for so long. Now, I was ready to embrace my new role in this exciting world. Every encounter I had shifted the narrative of my life from one of support to one of direction. My voice was finally gaining the volume it deserved, echoing in a space where I had been silenced for too long. As my confidence blossomed, I immersed myself deeper into the art of networking. Every event transformed into a stage, an opportunity to showcase the vibrant persona I was cultivating. Each encounter fueled my ambition and chipped away at the shadows I once inhabited. Then the invitation to Marcus Grant's charity gala arrived. It was more than an event, it was a launchpad, bringing together luminaries from the logistics and event planning world. My heart raced at the prospect. This was my chance to solidify my presence among the elite. I meticulously planned every detail in the days leading up to the gala. My outfit, a stunning crimson dress, symbolized the assertiveness I was embracing. As the day approached, anticipation mixed with nerves, but I pushed through, focusing on the possibilities ahead. On the night of the gala, I stepped into the grand hall, awed by the dazzling chandeliers and the buzz of laughter and conversation that filled the air. A quick scan of the room revealed clusters of well-connected individuals. I felt a familiar pang of anxiety as I realized they were the very people I needed to impress. Yet I refused to let fear dictate my evening. The key rested in my ability to infiltrate the social dynamics of the room. My goal was clear: connect with those who could help elevate my career. I took a deep breath and stepped toward a group gathered near a visually stunning centerpiece. "Isn't this floral arrangement amazing?" I initiated, pointing at the vibrant colors and intricate designs. Engaging them in conversation allowed me to reel them in. I introduced myself and seamlessly wove in my thoughts about how logistics enhanced guest experiences at events. My voice felt steady, and I noticed their attention shifting toward me. Suddenly, I spotted Marcus across the room, deep in conversation with Sophia, and my heart raced with conflicting emotions. This was a significant moment, the embodiment of my journey from the shadows into the spotlight. I focused on the determination surging within me. I had every reason to hold my head high. With a renewed sense of purpose, I navigated the crowd and approached Marcus. As I drew closer, I sensed the conversation shift. Sophia's gaze was now glued to me, her curiosity piqued. "Marcus," I said with an inviting smile, "I'd love to share my ideas on how logistics can transform event planning." His face brightened. "Olivia, how wonderful to see you. I was just mentioning your insights." There it was, recognition. A thrill coursed through me. I seized the moment, delving into a discussion about innovative ways to enhance events through logistical improvements. I could see that Marcus valued the direction I brought into the conversation, and I felt exhilarated sharing my vision with someone who appreciated it. I could hear a ripple of intrigue amongst the nearby guests, drawn in by our exchange. As I spoke, Sophia tried to interject, but I didn't let her disrupt my flow. I was determined to establish my voice in the narrative. Marcus nodded, captivated by my illustrations of the guest experience. "I'd love for you to join my team on an upcoming project," he said, his tone affirming. My heart soared. This was more than just a conversation, it was a monumental opportunity. I could see the solidity of my transformation taking shape before my very eyes. After our discussion, I slipped back to the buffet, exhilaration buzzing through me. I hadn't simply attended the gala, I had made connections, opened doors, and asserted my place among industry leaders. The feeling of overcoming the barriers that once confined me washed over me in waves of elation. Back home later that night, I replayed the evening in my mind. So much had changed within me, and I realized I was no longer just a contributing participant, I had morphed into a force in my field. The shift in narrative was palpable. Each conversation solidified my independence. As I settled into bed that night, the soft glow of the moon filtered through my window, illuminating thoughts of resilience and ambition. I made a vow to continue forging this path forward while remaining true to myself. I was moving beyond the shadows with deliberate intention, infused with clarity, purpose, and an unwavering drive. No more waiting in silence, my voice was finally echoing in the spaces where once it was hushed. I was ready to embrace every challenge the future offered, and every opportunity one could create, standing tall and proud in my newfound identity. The next few weeks passed in a flurry of excitement and newfound determination. My phone buzzed relentlessly with messages from connections I had made at the gala. Collaborations and discussions flowed like a river, and each day seemed to promise more opportunities. I felt alive in ways I hadn't in years, my days filled with vibrant conversations that sparked new ideas and possibilities. When Marcus contacted me to discuss the details of the project, I hardly contained my enthusiasm. We met at a trendy new cafe downtown to brainstorm. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee surrounded us as we sat across from each other at a small table, unconsciously leaning in, eager to share and innovate. Olivia, he began, a warm smile on his face, I think our project on transforming corporate events could really set a new standard. Your vision on integrating logistics and design is exactly what we need. Something inside me swelled with pride and anticipation. I've been considering how we can streamline operations without sacrificing creativity. Imagine every event profile personalized based on guest preferences, using data analytics to enhance their experience, I suggested, my ideas spilling forth effortlessly. Each word seemed to carry the weight of my journey, the quiet nights spent strategizing and now, the clarity that emerged from my experiences. Marcus listened intently, nodding along. That's brilliant. Personalization is key, and with the right logistics management, we could revolutionize how clients perceive value at events. Picture this, distinct themes that aren't just visual but are also reflected in the food, layouts, and even staff interactions, all while being flawlessly executed. The synergy in our collaboration was palpable, each idea building on the last. Our meeting sparked a creative fire, and I saw the possibility of some incredible projects emerging from our partnership. Together, we crafted a thorough proposal to present to industry stakeholders. Every evening, I dedicated time to refine our approach, dissecting logistics channels, vendor possibilities, and potential obstacles. With each passing day, the project became more than just an assignment, it morphed into a reflection of who I was becoming. When the time came for our proposal presentation, I sat in the boardroom beside Marcus, feeling a mix of adrenaline and determination. As we presented our ideas backed by research and detailed plans, I could see the interest in the eyes of the executives around the table. Logistics shouldn't be a last-minute consideration, I proclaimed, feeling each word resonate within me. It must be ingrained in the vision from the outset, ensuring that events captivate both guests and clients while maintaining efficiency. My voice rang clear and confident, echoing through the room. The room filled with questions and engaging discussions. I responded with poise. My experience had prepared me for this moment as every interaction and learning culminated into this powerful presentation. I felt alive. When we wrapped up, I stole a glance at Marcus, who shot me an approving smile. The sense of accomplishment was intoxicating. After a few days, we received the green light to proceed, our ideas were met with enthusiasm and investment. But as we dove deeper into the project, contrasts surfaced. Each planning phase forced me to confront the reality of working alongside Sophia, who held a significant stake in the project. Her initial supportive demeanor began to shift, and I sensed her growing unease about my emerging role. In meetings, I noticed her attempts to undermine my contributions with subtle, dismissive comments. Perhaps we should consider less ambitious ideas, she suggested during one meeting, voice smooth yet cutting. Not everyone appreciates change. My pulse quickened at her attempt to downplay my input, but I composed myself, refusing to allow her words to rattle me. I believe our clients deserve innovation, I replied, maintaining eye contact. Change is crucial, especially in today's market. The tension reached a boiling point when she cornered me one afternoon after a particularly energetic meeting. Olivia, I hope you realize this is a team effort. You shouldn't act like this is your project alone, she said, her voice a mix of condescension and barely masked disdain. I understand teamwork, Sophia, but I'm also committed to pushing boundaries, I countered, feeling a fire ignite within me. We were two different forces, one anchored in tradition and the other hungry for progress. Our daily interactions became a mental chess game, each of us positioning ourselves deftly while navigating the complexities at play. My trust in Marcus as an ally anchored me as I deftly maneuvered through these challenges, proving myself in the face of adversity. Then came the day of our grand project presentation to potential clients, the pivotal moment that could define my new career trajectory. The pressure intensified in the lead-up, the tension in the office crackled in the air. On the day of the presentation, I arrived earlier than usual, a focused determination propelling me through the sliding doors of the venue. The event space was transformed, our ideas were brought to life in a stunning array of colors, textures, and logistics intricacies. As I approached the stage, I trembled with anticipation and excitement. But in that moment, I steeled myself, recalling each late night of preparation, each step of growth I had embraced. I was ready. With Marcus standing beside me, I took a deep breath, addressing the audience with confidence. I spoke of vision, of possibilities, and of how logistics could elevate each guest's experience. As I laid out the logistics behind our proposed concepts, I glanced toward Sophia, who sat in the back, listening intently. The room reacted with palpable interest. People leaned forward to absorb our vision, questions flowed, and ideas sparked lively discussions. Each response I delivered felt like a tribute to my journey, a reclaiming of the narrative that had so often sidelined me. By the end, the room erupted in applause, and I felt an overwhelming surge of pride wash over me. We were not just presenting a project, we were igniting change. Afterward, as the audience mingled, I caught a glimpse of Marcus, who approached me with a satisfied smile. "You nailed it, Olivia. You've truly established yourself today," he said. In that moment, I separated from every ounce of doubt, letting go of the fear that had lingered for far too long. I realized how far I'd come, from the shadows into the spotlight, and ready to carve my path in a world eager for change. This was only the beginning. After the successful presentation, the momentum in my career surged. Interest grew around our project, and soon, we were fielding inquiries from potential clients eager to embrace our innovative approach to event logistics. I felt enveloped in a whirlwind of activity. Every day brought meetings, discussions, and the thrill of expanding our reach. Yet, the victory was not without its challenges. Whereas initially Sophia had begrudgingly acknowledged my contributions, her behavior began to shift into something more sinister. She would sidestep me in meetings, pushing her ideas while undermining mine with curt dismissals. I noticed her whispering with colleagues, their clandestine exchanges often followed by glances in my direction. The mounting tension sent warning signals through my mind. One afternoon, during a critical project update, as I confidently presented our latest progress, Sophia interjected. "I think we need to be realistic here, Olivia," she said, her tone condescending. "We can't rush this. Clients won't respond well to such radical changes." The room grew quiet, and the weight of her words hung in the air like a storm cloud. My heart raced, but I took a breath, steadying myself. "On the contrary, Sophia," I replied, firm yet respectful, "our research indicates that clients appreciate innovation, especially in a competitive environment. The key is to provide them with unique solutions that engage their audience on multiple levels." I could see the skepticism on her face, but I pressed on. By falling back into conventionality, we risk becoming obsolete. We must lead, that's how we differentiate ourselves. The tension between us became electric, but I refused to let her derail my focus. I realized I had to navigate this carefully, not allowing her to intimidate me. I began to document my ideas and insights more meticulously, ensuring that I had a record of my contributions. In the days that followed, I sank deeper into my work with Marcus, collaboratively refining our project proposals and strategies. There was joy in my renewed partnership, where every brainstorming session felt electric, infused with creativity and shared ambition. We explored potential events that highlighted our innovative concepts, from interactive experiences to seamless event flows. Eventually, our efforts bore fruit. The phones started ringing off the hooks, and soon we secured several lucrative contracts from various prestigious clients drawn in by our daring concepts. I felt myself standing at the edge of something truly transformative for my career and the company. Yet, amid the excitement, Sophia's hostility grew more pronounced. When Marcus and I received an invitation to present to the board about our success and future strategies, my excitement was palpable. We spent days finalizing our presentation, ensuring every detail was perfect. But as the day approached, a nagging sensation clawed at my inner peace. I could sense Sophia plotting behind the scenes, desperate to undermine us. At the board meeting, I found myself seated at a long table, confidence coursing through me. Marcus stood beside me, eager to present our findings. I glanced around the room, meeting the eyes of the executives who had come to hear our vision. Marcus launched into our findings, highlighting the impact of our innovative strategies. The board seemed engaged, nodding along as he shared our achievements. Then came my turn. With my research and insights spilling onto the screen, I detailed how each element of our proposals fit into a cohesive vision. I spoke with fervor about the data-driven decisions we had made and how they positioned us to lead the market. Everything was lined up perfectly, until Sophia raised her hand. "Excuse me, Marcus," she interrupted, pinning me with a gaze that felt cold and calculated. "But I have some concerns about these new initiatives. Are we really prepared to handle the scale of such radical changes when our traditional foundations have served us well?" The room shifted, and I could feel the tension swirl like a storm. I swallowed hard, but I wouldn't allow her to derail my contributions. Taking a steadying breath, I responded, "I appreciate those concerns, Sophia. However, our traditional methods have limited our potential. It's essential to evolve with the changing landscape." She leaned back, arms crossed, visibly displeased but not willing to engage further. The board members shifted uncomfortably, glancing between us. I could feel the pulse of the room. It was now or never. Taking the initiative, I showcased our success metrics alongside compelling visuals from our recent projects. We've seen a profound shift in client feedback, and our event attendance has surpassed expectations. This is not just change for the sake of change, it's a defined response to what our market demands, I said, allowing my passion to shine through. Gradually, the tension began to dissipate. Queries turned into discussions, and I could see the board members contemplating my points deeply. By the time we wrapped up, a sense of resolve filled the air. Later, as the board expressed their agreement to support our initiatives, I caught sight of Sophia's tight expression, and a small thrill of triumph surged through me. As we left the meeting room, Marcus turned to me, admiration clear on his face. "You managed that beautifully, Olivia. You handled Sophia with tact, showcasing your capability with confidence." My heart swelled. "I couldn't have done it without you, Marcus. Your support has been invaluable." While our professional relationship thrived, I remained wary of Sophia. I knew our paths would cross again, but I was ready. Armed with the clarity of my vision and my growing reputation, I approached each day with renewed determination. Despite the challenges that awaited me, I had surpassed the barriers I once believed existed. This newfound excitement wasn't merely about my career trajectory, it was also a testament to my resilience. In the weeks that followed, I allowed myself to envision a future where my ideas not only flourished but also reshaped the landscape of the industry. I was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that I was no longer defined by my past. The shadows had receded, illuminating a pathway to a future crafted by my own hands. In this exhilarating journey, there was no turning back. Each challenge further solidified my resolve, propelling me forward into a narrative I was proud to call my own. The days rolled on with a remarkable pace, each one filled with excitement and a growing sense of ownership over my work. As plans progressed for our upcoming projects, new ideas sprouted like wildflowers in spring. Marcus and I met frequently, brainstorming ways to enhance our offerings, and we were buoyed by the early successes. One afternoon, amidst the flutter of ideas, Marcus proposed we hold a workshop for potential clients to showcase our innovative logistics strategies. "It'll demonstrate our commitment to their needs and highlight how we can elevate their events physically and experientially," he said, enthusiasm shining in his eyes. "That's brilliant," I replied, feeling my excitement mirrored in his expression. "We can create an interactive showcase that details the logistics we've successfully implemented while engaging clients in real time." As we laid the groundwork for the workshop, I meticulously planned every detail, from the thematic setup to the interactive elements. I envisioned everything unfolding seamlessly, precisely as I had always imagined. The workshop would be a stage for our ideas, not just an opportunity to present but also to engage with attendees meaningfully. As the days flew by, however, Sophia's antagonism continued to bubble beneath the surface. I sensed her watching, ready to pounce on any slip I might make, and her demeanor grew increasingly distant, almost shark-like. She was sure to be a thorn in my side, but now, I had strategies to navigate her challenges. My focus remained trained on the future. The day of the workshop arrived in brilliant sunshine, an omen of success, I thought. As I entered the venue, I was struck by how the space resonated with energy and potential. Vendors, lighting techs, and catering staff bustled around, making everything come to life. Everything I envisioned was materializing into a tangible reality. Marcus and I finalized the presentation, tweaking any last-minute details before clients began to arrive. As attendees streamed through the doors, I felt a mix of nerves and excitement crackling in the air. I positioned myself at the entrance to greet each guest, welcoming them warmly while gauging their body language. This is where it all begins, I thought, the anticipation swelling within me. Once everyone settled, I took a moment to inhale deeply, reminding myself of how far I had come. I stepped onto the stage, and the room quieted. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, I began, my voice even laced with purpose. We are thrilled to share how innovative logistics can enhance every aspect of your events. Today, you'll experience firsthand how we can elevate your guest experience through personalized strategies. As I spoke, I witnessed nods of interest and excitement gathering in the audience. I switched to interactive segments, inviting attendees to participate in mock scenarios that showcased our innovative methods. Their enthusiasm surged as we engaged in direct simulations of event logistics, exploring various themes and their associated guest interactions. Sophia, hovering in the back, watched closely. I could see her anxiety morph into irritation as she witnessed the attendees engrossed in our ideas. I had become the focal point of engagement, and she knew it. Each enthusiastic response I elicited from the crowd fortified my resolve, transforming any last flickers of doubt into laser-like focus. After several dynamic presentations, I opened the floor for questions. Hands shot up, and eager faces met mine. Each query was an opportunity to reinforce our strategy and showcase our depth of knowledge, a chance to solidify my stance in the industry. Eventually, one client offered a particularly in-depth question about how our logistics would specifically benefit their upcoming event. I relished the opportunity, weaving data insights and examples into a robust answer that underscored our capabilities. That's a great question, I began. At our last corporate retreat, we implemented our tiered logistics model, ensuring that every logistical detail was tailored to not only maximize functionality but also enhance the attendee experience. Attendees commented on how every aspect felt thoughtfully curated, which translated into engagement and satisfaction. As the workshop wrapped up, I could feel the air thick with interest and excitement. Happy chatter filled the room, and as I stepped down from the stage, clients approached me to discuss potential collaborations. My heart soared as I engaged each one, perceiving the authenticity of their interest. When the crowd began to dissipate, I turned to Marcus, who wore a pleased expression. You crushed it, Olivia. That was fantastic. Thank you. It felt amazing to share our vision and connect with everyone in real time, I said, still buzzing with adrenaline. But just as I sat to catch my breath, Sophia approached, crossing her arms. That was impressive, she said, her tone edged with a thin layer of skepticism. But remember, putting on a show isn't the same as delivering. We'll need to see sustained success before we can consider this a win. Her thinly veiled attempt to downplay our success stung, but I responded with measured confidence. Sustained success is precisely what we're building towards, Sophia. Today was just the first step in a long-term vision. With that dialogue lingering in the air, she turned on her heel and walked away. I felt an unusual sense of clarity wash over me, the shadow of her doubts would not loom over my achievements. I had built something worthwhile, and I was prepared for any challenges to come. In the days that followed, our collaborative efforts paid off handsomely as client meetings flourished and new contracts flowed in. The momentum felt undeniably good, and I made sure to celebrate victories with Marcus, who had become not just a colleague, but a trusted ally. As I sat in our shared office one evening, reviewing plans while sipping on a cup of herbal tea, I leaned back in my chair. The vibrant buzz of the work played like a symphony around me, and for the first time in years, every note felt like harmony. I had navigated the intricacies of a challenging world and emerged stronger. Deep within, I held steadfast to the conviction that this was just the beginning. There was no limit to how far I could push my vision. Standing at the precipice of a new horizon, I had finally crafted my narrative, one built on tenacity, innovation, and an unwavering belief in my potential. The shadows faded, directing my journey forward into a realm of infinite possibilities. And I knew, without a doubt, that I was ready to embrace whatever came next. As the weeks turned into months, the whirlwind of our earlier successes morphed into a steady stream of projects. Our reputation grew, with clients clamoring for the innovative approaches we had showcased. Marcus and I had become a dynamic duo, crafting solutions that captivated audiences and elevated experiences, with each new endeavor further solidifying our partnership. Then came a pivotal moment. A multinational corporation approached us to handle one of their flagship events. The stakes were high, but so were the rewards. The project promised not just significant financial gain, but also the chance to cement our status in the industry. In planning meetings, excitement coursed through me as we brainstormed creative concepts. We envisioned a gala that would showcase the client's brand while emphasizing sustainability and cutting-edge technology. I felt invigorated. This was not just about logistics, it was a vision that resonated with everything I stood for. Yet, I couldn't shake Sophia's mounting hostility. After each meeting, her demeanor shifted from skepticism to outright disdain as she seemed increasingly threatened by my growing influence and visibility. "Just remember, this is a team effort," she snapped during a particularly tense meeting, her eyes laser-focused on me. "You may have the spotlight now, but we can't afford to forget the fundamentals." I held her gaze steady. "Teamwork is key, Sophia, but embracing innovation is equally essential. We enhance our foundation by evolving, not by clinging to the past." Some team members exchanged supportive glances, reinforcing my resolve against her intimidation tactics. As the planning deepened, I thrived in taking charge, embraced my role as a leader with Marcus's unwavering support beside me. "Let's reimagine what this event could be," I urged, knowing we could craft something extraordinary. The night of the gala arrived, shimmering with potential. The venue had been transformed into an enchanting space, a stunning fusion of art and technology. As I walked in, the buzz of excitement filled the air, and I could hardly contain my enthusiasm. After making rounds, greeting guests, and witnessing the magic unfold, I felt alive. Everything we had envisioned sparkled in reality. As the evening progressed, the moment for our main presentation approached. My heart raced with anticipation, and as I stepped onto the stage, I recalled the hard work that led me here. "Welcome, everyone," I began, projecting confidence and warmth. "Tonight, we celebrate the fusion of creativity and logistics, showcasing a future of unforgettable events." I detailed our journey, our innovative strategies, ensuring the audience was captivated. As I spoke, I noticed the excitement in their eyes. They were engaged, and I fed off that energy. Sophia's rigid figure remained at the back, her expression stony, but I focused on the momentum of the room. After a series of informative presentations, I invited questions. I eagerly engaged with attendees, responding to their queries with clarity and enthusiasm. Each interaction reaffirmed my expertise and deepened my connection with the audience, making the moment feel even more transformative. When I wrapped up, the applause that erupted from the audience felt like a powerful affirmation. I looked to Marcus with a grin, his pride evident in his eyes. Here we were, thriving against the odds. Suddenly, amidst the celebratory ambience, I caught sight of Sophia slipping away from the venue, her body language a stark contrast to the evening's success. The sting of her negativity barely registered against my achievements. I had risen above her shadows. As the night unfolded, clients approached me, brimming with excitement and interest. I reveled in the connections I was forging, the potential partnerships blossoming before me. Stepping away for a moment to catch my breath, I reflected on how far I had come. I had carved out a space for myself in a challenging industry, running toward a bright future filled with promise. The evening glimmered with infinite possibilities, and with renewed conviction, I embraced the journey ahead. My foundation was solid, and I was ready for whatever awaited me next, standing resolutely at the threshold of the future. I was ready to transform every challenge into an opportunity, steadfast in the knowledge that this was just the beginning of my story.